Good evening, everybody. We are live yet again for August the 6th, 2025. This is Casper from the Tropical Weather Threat Society bringing you our nightly update. And I got some good news for everybody today. The threats that we were looking at, threat potentials for the southeastern United States have reduced considerably over the last 24 hours. So I will definitely be happy to report this as we get through tonight's forecast. So, taking a quick look at our most recent surface analysis from the National Hurricane Center, we've got Dexter up here. We've got Henriette out here. This is now Evo, or Ivo, however they're pronouncing it. And our little spot out here into the southwestern Atlantic. There has been some positive changes today. So, and of course, we are watching this particular tropical wave. That is also on the outlook, and the development percentages for that one have actually increased. So, again, we'll go over all that here in due time. So, taking a look at Dexter, as you can see, we've got some stuff to talk about. We've got a reduction, so happy to report that. But taking a look at Dexter, we do have to cover that first. Starting to make its transition into an extratropical or post-tropical cyclone. You could see the center of circulation, or the eye feature, really starting to expand. This is forecast to actually reach hurricane intensity now as it begins its transition. As you could see here, to a hurricane symbol. But all of these white symbols denote post-tropical cyclone at that point. Only the black ones denote actual tropical cyclone. This will be post-tropical. They'll stop issuing advisories on this probably within the next 24 hours, I would imagine. So, taking a quick look at the particulars on Dexter, we're at 40.0 north, 56.3 west, about 490 miles south-southwest of Cape Race, Newfoundland. Maximum sustained winds of 50 miles an hour, moving east-northeast at 16 miles an hour, and the minimum central pressure has come down to 999 millibars. Scrolling down to the most important portion of the public advisories, hazards affecting land, none. So it will continue to roll out there into the middle of the northern Atlantic. But in 36 hours, they are forecasting this to achieve hurricane strength as a post-tropical cyclone. But then within 72 hours after that, or a little bit further, we're talking about it being completely dissipated. So it's going to ramp up real quick and then die out just about as fast. Covering the rip currents out here, this is about the only threat to the United States that we have associated with Dexter. And other things, of course. It's not just Dexter. But as you can see, we do have a high risk of rip currents here along the New Jersey coastline, getting all the way down Delaware, Maryland, and even into parts of Virginia and North Carolina. So, folks, please, if you plan on going out to the beach before the start of the school season or whatever, taking that last quick trip out to the beach or, quick vacation, please exercise cautions. We do not need anybody caught up in a rip current and then turning themselves into a statistic. So, all right, now the good news. Disturbance number 1 has been reduced to a near 0% chance of development over the next 48 hours, which is critical because that was the approach time towards the Carolina coastline. And it now has a 30% chance over the next 7 days. I would not be surprised if this develops as it is pulling away from the United States, similar to what we've seen with Dexter. I would not be surprised with that at all. And our second one, this one has seen a little bit of increase in development percentages. We are now at 30% over the next 48 hours and 60% over the next 7 days. But I've got some really good news to report with that one as well. We can thank an upper level low and this little disturbance right here. That should keep this right on the heels. This one, Dexter's going to go out, this one's going to go out, and this one's going to be right behind it. So we've got good news to report this evening. Taking a look at the text product for the outlook, again, just to kind of show it there. Now, I'm going to start with Earth Null this evening because this shows everything. So I've got it here at the 850 millibar level, and we'll get our bearings here. We have Dexter up here. We have our little 030 out here, and we've got our 3060 running here out in the main development region. So we are at the 850 millibar level, and the 850 millibar level is approximately 1 mile above the ocean surface. Now, I also do need to monitor and make sure that we show our high pressure. As you could see, our high pressure rotating around and kind of creating this wind vector and this wind vector a mile up. And just so everybody knows, we've also got a high back here as well. So let's go ahead and run this forward. I'm going to run this forward as soon as I can get this out of our way here. It's not cooperating with me very well. Now, I'm going to run this forward 24 hours. 1, 2, 3. Now, this is, please keep in mind, this is also the GFS model solution. This is the GFS operational. Now, there are a few features here. We've got our area of interest for the main development region out here. We've got Dexter right here. We have our little 030 spot here. I'm going to highlight that. Now, people are going to be like, what's that? We don't see anything on that. I'll show you why. So, let me make sure that we put our high in here and our high in here. As you can see, again, we have our wind flow like this. Now, I'm 24 hours in advance, but there's one thing that we're missing. If you see, we've got the high here and the high here, and a small break in the high pressures right here. Well, you may ask why or what is causing that small break in that high pressure. Well, I'm glad you asked. It is this upper level low feature right here. This monstrous thing. Now, this upper level low is forecasted to be occluded and or cut off from the parent jet streak up here. That's critical because that is helping to keep the high pressure down here and held back a little bit. All right, if we look at the 500 millibar level, you could clearly see that we've got a absolute mess out here into the region, and we've got this pathway right there. Now, will it make that first doorway? Probably not. Probably won't make this first window of opportunity to get out. But now, let's go forward another 24 hours. So now we are at the 48-hour mark from where we're at right now. As you could see, Dexter has transitioned into this monstrosity of a wintertime storm, basically at this point. It's extratropical, it's cold core, and it's wide. It's got a very, very large wind field. But that very large wind field, again, for our bearings, there's our area of interest. And as you can see, we have got this flow right here with a cut. We've got a low pressure beginning to develop with this little high, very, very weak system. Now, I know we were talking about that little spot out there potentially into the Gulf. The models have fallen almost completely off on that. The Google DeepMind still wants to bring a couple things, and the Euro AI, but nothing of real significance. I'm not really overly concerned about that. Now, let's go ahead and run this forward again another 24 hours. 1, 2, 3. So as you can see here, here is our 030 spot. Boy, that transition, the 48 to 72 hour mark, that kicked up a notch. Now, keep in mind, this is just the GFS operational run, okay? So it is not a forecast. This is just to show kind of a generalized idea of what the atmosphere and how things are working. So we can clearly see the high pressure here. We still have a little bit of a break here, and notice at the 850 millibar level, this has still got to go out and around. Well, that out and around matches the hatched area or the highlighted area for this disturbance. Okay, because of this high is not immediately bending or building back, and then you've got this coming up to kind of guard like the southwestern flank of this high pressure. So at this point, things are becoming a little bit interesting because of this feature here could leave the door open for this to get out. But now, also keep in mind, this is at the 850 millibar level. You've got another strong wave beginning to emerge from the African mainland. On top of that, we're starting to see this monsoon trough right here with the kink in the winds. As you can see how the winds go up and then they come back around like this. This is a part of the monsoon trough. Keep an eye on this spot right here as I go forward one more 24-hour period. Notice how this begins to stand up like this. Well, what it's trying to do is roll this over like this. All right. It's stuck in these trades like this. So this could very easily become a, an issue later on down the road for maybe in the Eastern Pacific. But there are literally like a 10% chance that this were to get something and then try to pull one of these. But again, it's a 10% chance. It's not highlighted on the National Hurricane Center, but I at least, for folks that may be out there and wondering, hey, where did that come from? That's kind of what it is. And if you really, really want the kind of the big on it, it is this little spot right here. It's that little blob of convection right there. That's going to be forecast to go into the mainland and then maybe stand up as this pulls out. And keep in mind, there's a whole bunch of dust coming as well. So we're definitely not out of the dust season yet. So we're 96 hours out. We're at the GFS. We've got what would be Aaron right here. All right, this is definitely a tropical cyclone at this point in time. Looks like it would shed its frontal features. We've obviously got our other area here associated with the main development region spot right now. But again, keep in mind, this is still weak. This is a shallow storm. This is why we're only 1 mile above the ocean surface. Look at this flow. All right, there is a massive break in the high right here. There's another one trying to kind of replace this as this exits the scene, because this is running on the top. Now, it may not go this way. It may have to go up and over the high pressure and get caught into the trade winds and the, well, not the trade winds, but the westerlies or the jet stream. So that's what we're looking at as far as the basin is concerned. Now, I will attempt to run this forward as much as I can. That's it. That's all I can run Earth Null out. But it really at the 850 millibar level really shows what we're working with. This is going to kind of catch the weakness right here in this. It should, as this pulls out and keeps the high pressure built back. It's kind of kept it compressed this way. And then we also have our new area of interest and then a developing wave right here. And for those that may wonder about the Gulf, you've got a little bit of a couple little pops of energy right here. But if I'm 3 miles above the ocean surface. If I come down to the ocean surface itself, we've got a little bit of an uplift right here, right in that area. So again, nothing of true concern. It's real close to land, and it's not even spinning. So please keep that in mind. All right, let's check the models. We're out 7 days currently here on the Euro's regular EPS European model, no AI. So as you can see, we've got a little bit, again, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, a 10% chance, maybe a little something off this little front blob that we see. And the GFS, as I showed, was a completely different type of solution. So none of them are in agreement, really. If I run this out 10 days, as we could see, maybe with this little spot, and please, folks, do not concentrate on that one pink line. That one pink line, I'll show it to you here in a little bit more detail. That is 2%. Would you bet the house on 2%? I wouldn't. So keep that in mind. Each one of the Euro ensembles, probability-wise, equates to approximately 2%. So I'm not worried about 2%. It's going to change in the next model, I promise. So though the next one, the wave that is going to emerge from the African mainland that we do not have an outlook on yet, this is one that we're going to have to watch. All right, we've got the MJO that's going to be rolling through at the same time. These two are going to pass. You know, the MJO heading this way and that wave heading that way. They're going to cross paths at some point. And, you know, a couple days after that goes by, we could see a little bit of increase in moisture in the mid-levels, which may help for organization. Now, I'm not going to bother to show the 15-day because I know there's a whole bunch of people out there on social media that are hyping things up and going crazy with it and showing operational runs. There's your first mistake. You're showing an operational run for a system that hasn't even developed yet. And even, to make matters worse, on a system that hasn't even emerged from the mainland of Africa yet, and they're trying to show an operational run. Unfollow those folks, people. They literally have no idea what the hell they're talking about. And I will say it just as blunt as could be, and be a lot worse. But I'm currently in the live stream, or I've got a lot of choice words for those types of folks. As we could see with the AI, now this is the Euro AI, and I've got this out 10 days. If we look at the Gulf of Mexico, very few scratch marks, only 3 little blips of color. Again, not really worried about it. It's most likely going to be nothing more than an increase in showers and thunderstorm coverage and frequency. Instead of you getting your normal afternoon showers at like 3-4 o'clock in the afternoon, hey, you might get your afternoon showers at like 1, maybe noon. And maybe a little bit more rain than what you were used to. Maybe it hangs on for a little bit longer. But otherwise than that, it's not really much of a concern at all. This little area out here. Now, the AI goes absolutely bonkers with this. Now, this is the one that I'm going to show to help combat the misinformation and the hype that's out there. Because this is what everybody's going to be showing. like, oh my God, there's a hurricane. But look at the general flow of this. All right. For the most part, the AI is not really impacting land. So, people are going to show scary models, but they're not going to show the ones that are necessarily scary. But look at the uncertainty in this as well. It is literally from the central Atlantic to the Yucatan Peninsula. So, you guys, I mean, they've really got to watch what they're doing. I mean, and I cannot wait to see the collective of humanity be like, no, we are not going to stand for this kind of BS at this point. So, out 168 hours on the GEFS. This, as you could see, maybe getting a little something, kind of everything kind of connecting along and keeping the high pressure built back. But then when I go out 10 days, now things are starting to get a little bit interesting, because the GEFS is just a touch bit lower than what the Euro and the AI are calling for. And that, just that little bit lower in the latitude, it draws concern. Now, we'll throw the hype out there to where everybody's going to be like, oh my God, here it comes. Keep in mind, this system is still on the African mainland. So what you see in this picture is garbage. Straight up. This is even pushing it far beyond it. This is too far at 10 days. When it comes to the GEFS, if we really want to get some skill, maybe about 8. It's about as far as you can take it. 8.5. But we show the 10. And as you can see, we do have the potential for something out there. Now, let's break into the Google DeepMind, because I know I heard from somebody that was watching it last night and was really appreciative of kind of the way that we broke this Google DeepMind model down. So, and I thank you for that, Chris. I really do. That certainly let me know that it's certainly understandable and working. I appreciate all the feedback. So if we remember, a couple days ago, we had an explosion of blue markers out here into portions of the Gulf of Mexico. We don't have those explosions of markers anymore. There's 5. That equates to 10%, folks. 10. That's kind of why you don't even see the National Hurricane Center putting anything on it. So what I really want to show is look at the Google DeepMind as far as our little spot out here into the Atlantic. We don't have hardly anything. Like, the Google DeepMind is quite bare. But then we start to get this cluster right here. And this is with the wave that has not emerged from the African mainland yet. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to come back and we're going to turn on all of the models, including the Euro. And this is going to give us pretty much everything at this point. Now, keep in mind that some of the Euro ensembles wants to show that trough, maybe working through and a bunch of stuff. So we'll bring this out. We're basically going to bring this out, let's see, 72 hours. And we'll highlight this for everybody, and as you can see, not much. And if it was one generated category 1 hurricane, which is a 2% chance, so please don't get, don't get nervous, don't get anxious. And then 2 others at a tropical storm. So you're looking at an overall 6% chance from the Euro ensembles, mind you. The DeepMind has a 2 that you may even get just anything whatsoever. And as you can see here, that is model member number 40. 2%, folks, 2. And 6 on the other. So I'm not really concerned about it. It's more of an increase of showers and thunderstorms. Now, at the 72-hour mark, let's go ahead and take a look at this. If we take a look at our spot out here into portions of the Atlantic, we have pretty much everything is in agreement that it is going to take off and follow Dexter and what would potentially be Aaron. So let's run this forward a little bit further, because here comes our new wave emerging. And now that we've got all our little blue spots out here in the Gulf, take a look. Again, not much, okay? Not much at all. It's very disjointed. Not really impressed. Our little spot that we highlighted out here, if we run these, again, 1, 2, 3, 4. It's nothing to get concerned about. The percentages are very, 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 very low. If something were to try to get its act together, we're obviously going to know about it days ahead of time. Right now, don't think so. So I want to bring this out to where we really start to get our signal for this new wave. And we're going to run the whole gambit on this thing. And take a look, folks. Even the other models potentially have this following in suit with the one that we have out there right now. So, some of these scary, scary little operational runs talking about, oh my God, look, it's Armageddon. I'm showing you dozens of solutions here. I've got, 3 that get it to land. Now, this one right here, this one's insane. This one gets out of control. And though it can verify as far as the pressure and the wind speed. But again, 2%. Model member number 48, 2%. So, again, we've got plenty of time to watch these things, folks. We don't have a threat right now. Our dust, taking a look at this. If we run this forward, we do see that there is going to be some more dust that is going to end up getting in and infiltrating throughout the basin. But the thing is we're starting to see little pockets, like little pock marks in the dust. So that means that it is not as thick or as, as debilitating as it has been. Now this one, this little spot here, obviously 5 days, this is what the what our little area of interest is running into right now. But then that next wave, look, we've already got a lot of pockmarks here. And that's that next wave. And I don't see a lot of dust really buried in and around it. It's not really coming off. It's kind of bringing a plume, but then as you could see, it doesn't really hold together too much. It starts to kind of fizzle apart, and as it makes it further and further across the basin, it may find more conducive conditions for potential development. Our rainfall forecast, as you could see, for our area of interest, they have come down dramatically in some of these rainfall amounts. This is quite a reduction compared to what we've seen 24 or 48 hours ago. So good news for the folks there in the Carolinas. Our excessive rainfall outlook, though, still one more day of slight. Tomorrow we do have some marginal in the region. Day 3 still the marginal. Day 4 we might get back to some dry weather. And unfortunately that means the heat's going to return, but also dry weather. Our MJO outlook for the evening. As you could see, we did have a good movement from day 4 to day 5 right here, from the 4th to the 5th. So we'll have to see. We need to get this into phase 3, phase 4 to stop messing with our particular basin. This came out yesterday. This is the Global Tropics Hazards Outlook from the Climate Prediction Center. As we could see, for August 13th through August the 19th, we have a 40% chance of tropical cyclone development. This is 40 to 59% chance right here. The other areas, the hatched areas, are 20 to 39%. The little candy cane stripe, red and white striped. So, and again, we also see it for August 20th through August the 26th. I'll say, like I did last night, it is potentially encouraging to see this increase in moisture right here. It could lead to some of these storms turning before they get to the United States. Our update on this, I do want to make sure that we kind of discuss this until we get into peak season. Oh, we are pretty much right about here now, with all of this still yet to go. So we're just now starting to get into hurricane season, folks. You know, we've still got a long way to go. And Colorado State University came out with their updated stuff. So I've got that here at the end of tonight's forecast as well. Looking at real quick, this is August 1st through August the 10th. These are the origin points for tropical cyclones going all the way back to 1851. Anywhere in the basin can see tropical cyclone development as we get into August. It gets even more frequent as we get for August 11th through August the 20th. As we start to approach the end, I'll switch the graphic and we'll get into, we'll slide this one into the first realm, and then we'll do 21 through 30 for August. And that one is even more at that point. Turn the sprinkler on. I don't want to. Water conservation. To watch it wither. You need rain, do you, Terry? I don't think so. I haven't even looked at your local forecast recently, but I don't think you've got rain coming. No, I don't think so. I think you're in a dry spell right now. You may have to turn the sprinklers on, dear. I'm sorry. I mean, I wish I could share some of the rain that we've had. We've had 5, 6, 7 inches this last week. It's ridiculous. That's the only thing that's kept the temperatures down. But I'm kind of waiting on the temperatures to come back because can't really take much more rain. Soils are the soil is saturated, and we need a dry spell. We could definitely use a break in the rain for a couple days. And no, Amanda, I see you guys had the slow crawling blow up thunderstorm down there in Southwest Florida. You got a break. Looks like you got a break right now, but you may have another, one down there blowing up south of you. Yeah, no, I wish we could trade for just like a couple days. If we could, you take the heat, here's some rain. I take the heat, here, and we just go back and forth with it, and everybody would be thrilled and happy. So we've got a new storm out here into portions of the Eastern Pacific. As you can see, we have Henriette here, and then we have Tropical Storm Evo out here, or Ivo. I think it's going to be Evo. I'm sure I will get a pronunciation lesson and education in the post-live conference call that we have with the team. I'm sure everybody, I'm sure James is just waiting at the bit to just jump right back on top of me. So looking at, as we could see with Henriette here and Evo over here, we will first start with Henriette. We are at 18.1 north, 131.3 west, moving west at 16 miles an hour with a minimum central pressure of 1,005 millibars and a maximum sustained winds of 50 miles an hour. Not really going to discuss this too much. As you can see, still firing a little bit of convective activity near and around the core of the center there on the western side of the circulation. No hazards affecting land whatsoever as far as our public advisory is concerned, though we are anticipating this to strengthen through the forecast period. Now, reaching up to, in the 120-hour mark, 5 days, 70 miles an hour. But it is still forecast to miss the Hawaiian Islands. So that's a good thing. It can do whatever it wants to do if it stays out there with the fish. And the spaghetti plots on this also are in agreement well away from the Hawaiian Islands. Now, Tropical Storm Evo. We just got this as of the 5 p.m. Eastern Daylight Time, 2 p.m. Pacific Daylight Time primary update. And this one has got a little bit of a concern. I've got this on the mesoscale because this was so fresh and so brand new that we don't have a lot of frames as far as a satellite floater or a zoomed in view of this. We don't really have a lot at all. But the one thing that we do have is the mesoscale because of the fact that it is so close to the coastline. We do not currently have watches and warnings in effect, but we do have some hazards. So currently we are located at 14.2 north, 99.1 west, about 195 miles south-southeast of Acapulco, Mexico. Maximum sustained winds are 40 miles an hour, moving west-northwest at 22 miles an hour. So its forward speed is not necessarily like the prime speed that it would like to see. It's moving just a little bit too fast. And the minimum central pressure is 1,008 millibars. There are no coastal watches or warnings in effect, but hazards affecting land. Rainfall. We have 2 to 4 inches with a maximum total of 6 inches over some Mexican states that I'm not even going to try to pronounce. And we will pull that up here. I've got that graphic for you. And then we also have some swells and the potential of rip currents. Is forecasters' discussion. This is forecast to become a hurricane within the next 48 hours. So it could be, unfortunately, it could be quite strong. It's all going to depend upon that center of circulation. Is it a real small center of circulation? That thing could get wild. It really could. And as we could see here, Evo has a relatively small circulation, but it's embedded within a fairly large area of deep convection. Ship's diagnostics indicate that wind shear could be a limiting factor for Evo's intensity during the next couple of days. But the tropical storm is in an otherwise conducive environment for strengthening. The NHC forecast follows the multi-model consensus and shows Evo reaching hurricane strength within the next couple of days, but there is about a 30 knots of spread in the intensity guidance, both above and below the official forecast. So this thing, and you're talking about 30 knots, add another 35 to your 80, and now you're talking about potentially a major hurricane. Or take away 35 from your 80, and now we're talking about a minimal tropical storm. So the uncertainty that is associated with Evo is considerable, and would highly recommend folks to use the database or not, just Google search it. As you can see here, we come to North America. We scroll in, we go right to Mexico, and then boom. You have the official forecast and the official meteorological agency for Mexico. So they're calling for their, get back here. I seen that. So they've got their totals for the Atlantic, 13 to 17. Out here in the Atlantic Basin, 3 to 4 majors. We've got 3 to 4 category 1 or 2, and then 7 to 9 tropical storms. And then they've got more activity in the Eastern Pacific at 16 to 20. And those are the folks that kind of run the Eastern Pacific, like they're the ones that get hit the most by it. So I would imagine that they're, they're doing the best there. But folks, it's always available here at the database. Any place you need, it's right there. So let's get back here to the cone of uncertainty. As you could see here, it is forecast to move parallel with the coast, but in doing, we have a rainfall forecast, and especially some of the mountainous regions here in southern Mexico. Isolated up to 6 inches, 4 to 6 in those mountainous terrains. And we all know, we've learned, elevated terrain and topography and tropical downpours do not mix. What we got here? in September. So Terry, well, the biggest threat for Texas is usually in the August months. Once we start to get into September, it'd be like early September, yeah. But then once we start getting those cold fronts coming down and getting down into the basin, that usually leads a block for you, unless, of course, it comes up from the Bay of Campeche from the south. So now we're going to jump out here into the rest of the world. We've got Baliu still out there, of course. As you can see, 25 knots. I am going to actually close out of that because I don't want to talk about Baliu no more. Tropical Depression number 15. We will open this tab up. I haven't looked. 25 knots. Again, we are going to close that tab. And then we have 98W and another potential opportunity out here, 91S in the southern Indian Ocean. So we may end up with another storm out here in, number 2 for the season in the southern hemisphere, where it's technically winter. So again, for the folks out there, Colorado State University and Dr. Klotzbach and his team issued their final forecast for the upcoming season. Now you have your 2-week forecasts that will become a part of the resources. But as far as the seasonal forecast is concerned, this is it. And I would like to, at least report to everybody that there was absolutely no change from the most recent to now. None. Zero change. The one thing that is concerning is this right here. This column is obviously the most concerning for all of us. This is the ACE, or the accumulated cyclone energy, west of 60 degrees west. And the average is 73. We're still looking at 84. No, Terry, that was not a tsunami. That was flooding off of mountainous terrain and a debris flow. And unfortunately, there were numerous fatalities associated with that one. And hopefully you didn't see the zoomed in video that it's located in the asylum chat, dear. Yeah, there's a whole bunch of people that passed. Viewer discretion advised. If you do decide to scroll back up and watch that video, it's horrible. Yeah, it really is. Now, there we go. We've got it. It finally loaded. So we are going to get our seasonal predictions here for everybody, if it will load. This thing was taking forever to load earlier today. And as you can see, it's still taking forever to load. This comes from Europe, so we've got to kind of go back and forth across the Atlantic. And it's not wanting to load. Not in any kind of timely manner. So, well, we'll go over that tomorrow night. We'll click on the 2-week forecast here from Dr. Klotzbach. Above normal parameter of ACE, 55%. And in the forecast, as you could see, this is based on the date of the forecast. We were seeing that earlier. And current storm activity, this was obviously published earlier. We do have he's got 14-day outlooks on there. So if you guys want to read any of this, let me... Oh, what'd I do? That isn't what I was trying to do. I just want to post. What did I do? I just wanted to put a comment in. Okay. Well, if that doesn't work. Oh. says write a comment. Okay. Ah, I see what I was doing now. I need to scroll down just a little bit further on the screen because look here. There we go. All right. Take forever. So if anybody wants to read it, the PDF file is right there. The link located, and it's exactly what we're looking at here. Giving you the MJO and any of the upper level wind forecast and stuff like that. So it's a great product, highly recommended. They do a great job. I personally have not read this. I was working all afternoon, got home, took care of all my errands, and now started setting up for the live. So have we loaded? No, we have not loaded. So we'll go ahead and we'll touch on that again tomorrow night. I'll make sure to leave that up so this way it does load, so this way we can all look at it tomorrow night, and we'll go over all the seasonal predictions. And I do know Dr. Trusula will end up out with part 2 of his seasonal predictions tomorrow there at Weather Tiger as well. So, all right, everybody, we're going to go ahead and sign off. I've got things to do here this evening, so please, we'll be live again tomorrow night here on YouTube, and we'll be live here on Facebook as well. So have a wonderful evening, everybody, and we'll be with you all again tomorrow night, 6 p.m. Eastern, 5 p.m. Central. Have a great evening, everybody. Good night.